friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amelia and today we have a fun video. We're going to be doing the end of year reading tag. I first saw this on Katie's Readings channel, but I believe it was created by Ariel Visit, so definitely check out her channel after you watch this video. Alright, so we have 6 questions to get to today, so let's go ahead and jump straight into the first one. The first question is, are there any books you still need to finish by the end of this year? And the answer to that is yes. So the main book that I am reading that I need to finish before the end of this year is City of Dragons. This is book 3 of the Rainwilds Chronicles, which is the last series that I have yet to read in Robin Hobb's Realm of the Elderlings. There's a series that chronologically is after this, but I've already read that one. I read it out of order. My reading order for Robin Hobb has been kind of whack. Like, I didn't know what it was initially, so I read the first book of the last trilogy first, and then realized that it was not where I was meant to start. So then I read the first trilogy, the Farseer trilogy, and then I went back and read the last one, and now I'm reading my way through the rest of it, which is a very long-winded way to say that I want to finish this before the end of the year. Of course, I'm about a third or so in, so that should not be a problem. I've just kind of gotten a bit sidetracked. I was reading this, and then I read City of Brass, and then Murtog came in. If you want to see my review, it is up on the channel. It's the last video before this one. It was something, but yes, City of Dragons, I need to read that. And then the only other physical book that I'm kind of in the middle of is Red Seas Under Red Skies, which is book 2 in the Gentleman Bastard series. And I'm not specifically concerned about finishing that one this year. I think I'll probably come back to it next year just because I have other books that are a priority for this year. And then there's one other book. I am most of the way through the audiobook for Guns, Germs, and Steel, and I want to finish that before the end of the year, but it shouldn't be a problem. I think I only have about 3 hours left of that. All right, so the next prompt is, what are some autumnal books that are good for the transition into late fall and winter? So I definitely feel like high fantasy is great for this time of year because, you know, it's getting chilly outside. You want to cozy up inside with like a nice long book or a series of books, and fantasy is great for that. Sometimes too much so that we complain that there's like all series. But if I'm going to recommend one specifically, this is definitely probably a common recommendation, but I do feel like Lord of the Rings has like peak fall going into winter vibes, because like, you kind of start out in the Shire and it's sort of like summery, maybe like early fall energy, and then as it like goes on, it doesn't like become winter specifically, but the tone gets darker and it feels like colder. I mean, then you get to Mount Doom and it's toasty as shit. But my point is that it kind of feels like a seasonal transition from like the kind of like a light, airy, happy Shire into like the darker parts of the story. So you go from like the light of summer to the dark of winter, and I just think Lord of the Rings is a perfect series for that transition time. And then another recommendation in terms of like long books that you can cozy up and read for a long time, I'm going to recommend Tad Williams' Last King of Ostenard series. Now, this series is incomplete, and I will touch on that in a little bit because it's relevant. And it is technically the second series in this world, but I read it before I read the first series, and you don't have to have read the first series. Like, I think it's probably helpful, but like I didn't really have any problems. It's pretty much all like explained again. And the reason I'm recommending specifically that series and not the first series is that it's kind of like a similar to why I recommend Lord of the Rings. Like the tone of it, it's like kind of feels like the end of like the era, so it matches up with kind of end of the year, end of era, has the right vibes, and also there's a lot of cold scenes in wintry places, so that matches up as well. All right, and prompt number 3 is, what is a new release that you're still waiting for? And here's where we're going to get into what I was saying about Last King of Ostenard being unfinished. So I was so excited, super hyped that Navigator's Children, which is the last book of that series, was going to come out any day now. And then on November 13th, I was like, oh, it was supposed to come out yesterday. So I go on the Indigo website and it's still not out. And I'm like, what's going on? And at this point is when I realized that I cannot read. It's coming out November 2024, not 2023. So last November is when I finished the books that were all out. And I was like, oh, damn, I have to wait another year for the next book. No, I have to wait another 2 years. Now is another year. So that was quite devastating to find out. So the answer is no. I don't have anything that I'm waiting for to come out this year. I'm waiting for it to come out next year because I'm stupid and I can't read. All right, moving on from that. Prompt number 4 is, what are 3 books that you still want to read this year? So first up is, of course, Blood of Dragons. This is the final book in the Rainwild Chronicles. So this will be the final book I have to read in the realm of the Elderlings series, as I was saying. And it's honestly quite sad to realize that, like, this is all that I have left of this world. And I'm gonna be so sad when there's nothing left to read. I think I'm gonna reread the Farseer trilogy at the beginning of next year, because I would like to make a video talking about the realm of the Elderlings series, but I read this one like 2 years ago, so I want a refresher. But yeah, I need to read Blood of Dragons this year to finish that off, and I'm both looking forward to it and dreading it because that will mean that it's all over. All right, after that is a reread, and it is The Hobbit. Part of the reason that this is on my TBR for this year is so that I can fill in the reread square on my book bingo and get a bingo, since I don't have one yet. So that's part of the reason. And then also, I haven't read from this edition yet, and it was given to me on my birthday last year, so it would be nice to read it before then, so that I can, you know, I don't know, feel like I got to it in a timely manner. I don't know why, but you know, it's been a while since I reread The Hobbit, and it's a pretty short book, so I'm excited to get to that, and then hopefully in the new year finish my reread of Lord of the Rings, because I did read Fellowship this year. And then the last book that I'm going to put on this list is another book from a series, and it is Knife of Dreams from Wheel of Time. This is book 11. It's been a bit of a time since I picked up a Wheel of Time book, and I would like to finish it at the beginning-ish of next year, you know, first couple of months. So as I said in my series kind of video, or was it my year-end goals? I think it would have been my home stretch reading goals video. I talked about I want to read 2 more Wheel of Time books this year. So this would be the first of those 2 books. So at the very least, I would like to get to Knife of Dreams, make some more progress in Wheel of Time, so that I can finish this series up and say that I've read it. All right, prompt number 5 is, are there any books that you still think could become a favorite for this year? And I really hate to keep banging on about the same thing, because I just like keep bringing up Realm of the Elderlings, but I do think Blood of Dragons could be a favorite this year. I think Hobb is very good at endings to her mini-series, so I have really high hopes for this one, but I won't continue to talk about it too much. So one thing that I read recently was City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, and I really enjoyed this one. It's set in Egypt mostly. Well, she leaves Egypt, but anyway. So it's a totally different setting from like a lot of the fantasy that I've read, and the writing is very evocative of like the environment, and I just thought it was a very interesting. It's about a girl who, I don't want to give too much away, but there's genies and she gets mixed up in stuff that she thought was all myths, and yeah, I enjoyed it way more than I thought I was going to. Not that I didn't think I was going to enjoy it, I just like wasn't expecting it to be like a favorite. Like, I'm debating giving this book 5 stars. I might, I haven't decided yet. But all this to say that I have book 2, which is called Kingdom of Copper. I have that one in at the library, so I think that, as well as, if I have time for it, the 3rd book, which is called Empire of Gold. I think both of those have a good chance of being favorites for this year, if they meet up to the standards of this one. All right, and then the final question is, have you started making reading plans for 2024? Yes, I definitely have. I already have a video on the channel talking about all the series that I'm either going to continue, start, or not bring forward into 2024. So you should go check that one out as soon as I am done here. But other than that, I haven't really thought too much about like specific books. So I might make a like more specific TBR, like these are the books I definitely want to read next year video soon. I'm kind of thinking that I'm going to do like a 24 in 2024 spread in my reading journal. That's like 24 books that I specifically really want to read next year. So that's something to keep your eyes peeled for. It will either be in my 2024 reading journal setup, or I might make its own video depending on how interesting it seems. All right, but that is all of the questions. So some good reads for me to look forward to in the final part of this year. Let me know in the comments what books you're hoping to get to before the end of the year. But that is all that I have time for today. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.